G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and check out this huge citrus tree behind me. This is a native lime, an Australian native finger lime. I planted this about 15 years ago. 12 years ago, like 3 years after, the poor thing died. It got a borer in the stem, carked it completely. But then to my surprise, it resurrected itself from the rootstock, not from the original graft, which made me wonder, do I just chop it out because it's probably not any good, or do I wait and see what the fruit is like? 12 years later, it finally fruited. And in this video, I'm going to do a taste test of this fruit and let you know what I think of it. And also, was it worth waiting 12 years to see what this tree could produce? Let's get into it. Native limes are one of the most prized fruit trees there is here in Australia. It's native to Australia, but the fruit is really excellent. There's lots of different types of it now. It's like the outback caviar of fruit trees, and it has that beautiful citrus taste, and it's becoming more and more gourmet as people get used to it and then demand it more. And I know a guy personally who is changing his strawberry farm into a native lime farm. That's how much he thinks the future is worth it for finger limes in Australia. But before we taste this, I want to take you through how the tree grew, and it actually grew really well. Being a rootstock, that's what it's for. They often graft fruit trees onto vigorous rootstock so that it can grow really well in all types of soil. That's the good thing about rootstock. The bad thing about rootstock is they deliberately don't usually have rootstock as a fruit tree for eating, because often the fruit from it is pretty poor. As you can see, it actually looks pretty ugly down there because there was a fair bit of damage, and from memory, I think I also mowed right over the plant once it was dead, and that was even more damage. You can see that it's come up in two separate trunks, and then it's divided itself off into another couple. Essentially, it's turned into this gigantic bush rather than a single stemmed citrus fruit tree. The foliage and branches look really healthy, and it's always grown very vigorously, as you would expect from a rootstock, but there's heaps of thorns on it. It's not the prettiest tree, and it's not the nicest to try to mow around or even pick the fruit from it, I can tell you. Compared to the other citrus fruit trees we have here on our property, this sure is one of the nastiest. Ouchie. I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't play with sharp things, should I? Well, besides the foliage, the fruit, let's get on to that now, because that's the main crux of it, isn't it? That's why you grow a fruit tree. You normally harvest limes when they're green because they just taste a little better that way. You can leave a Tahitian lime ripen right to the end, and I still think they're fantastic. The green stage at this, I've tried it several times, was quite dry and very bland and terrible tasting. So I thought that I might leave it grow on and ripen and see if that improved the taste. And that's where we get to now. You can see a lot of the fruit has dropped all over the ground, and the bush turkey has been getting into them. Unfortunately, the bush turkey has been getting into the mulch as well, and my son is mulching around all our fruit trees at the moment, and he's not too happy about it, I can tell you. So I've already tried these limes, and I reckon what would be good is if I gave a taste test to someone who didn't know anything about the tree's history, and they could give us a really good, off the cuff, on the spur of the moment taste test. And in fact, I have a person right here. He's just doing the mulching for me. James, come over here. This is James, my eldest son. He's going to have a taste test of one of these limes that we grew. Now, you're doing some mulching at the moment. I actually can't reach them up there, and this thing is full of spines. So I want you to climb up that tree and get that lime for me, please. No, I'm only joking. Bring me your mulching tool. Rightio, we'll get this one, the closest one, up here. See if I can hook this up hook that through and just pull it off. There we go. Now, which one was it, James?
Pretty sure it was the right one.
This one?
Yes.
Here it is here. It's yellow, it's fully ripe. Cut that down the middle and then we'll have a look on the inside. Yeah, it's probably a light lime colour. It hasn't got a real strong smell about it. Smell that.
Yeah, pretty faint.
Yeah. Okay. Coming a bit closer then now, a bit centre of the camera. Now take your hat off so we can see you. Have a taste and give us your honest opinion on what you think it's like.
It's like a mix between like a bit of a lime and a lemon or something. Maybe a bit of like I don't know. It's like a sour lolly.
A sour lolly?
Yeah. With, warheads.
Is it nice or is it yucky?
I wouldn't know what you would put it on, but not that nice.
It's not that nice, is it? I know you're trying to be nice because you're not sure if I want this to be a really showcase fruit or if I think it's nasty. Let me tell you my honest opinion. It's awful.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's bloody awful. I'll have another taste. It tastes like soap.
Yeah.
Like soapy dishwashing water. Not that we drink that stuff much, but that's what I'd imagine it tastes like. It's no good, is it? And probably not worth growing, do you think?
No.
Compared to, say, our Tahitian lime and our Maya lemons and our bush lemons even. They're much better, aren't they? Or a nice orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, not worth it. All right, thanks, James.
No.
Yeah, you can take that away and eat it.
Thank you.
Get on with your mulching.
Thank you. Are you actually thinking of cutting it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. It's just, all it is taking up space. Was 12 years to wait for this thing to fruit worth it? Well, I guess it was, because I'm producing this video. We now know that the rootstock actually does produce fruit. Took a long time to finally produce fruit, and we now know what it tastes like. In general, if someone sort of asked me off the street, oh Mark, I've got rootstock growing out of an old stump, do you think it'll produce any good fruit? I'll usually say, no, it's not worth it. If you're in a really small urban block and you could replace that immediately with something that is a better type of tree that you know is going to produce good fruit in just a few years because it's a grafted tree on some rootstock, well, I would go with that. I wouldn't bother waiting 12 years to find out that the fruit tastes like crap, but soapy water. But for here, I like doing experiments, and you might too. And if you've got the space, you just never know. I remember years and years ago, my grandfather grew an avocado from seed, and they're not known to be very good. It's hit and miss. And same with some mangoes. And his avocado tree grew quick, vigorous, just like all rootstock. But the fruit that it finally produced after about a decade was magnificent and plentiful. It fruited crazy, and you couldn't give them away. There were so many. And that was when I first got a true love of avocados. A little bit of salt and vinegar. But anyway, that's beside the point. What my point is that you never know. So if you have the space and you have the time, why not give one of these experiments a go? If you don't have the space or the time to wait, the likelihood is that the fruit is not going to be that good. So replace it with something that you know is going to grow well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big rootstock thumbs up and share the video around, because that helps my channel out heaps. Subscribe, of course, and go to my website, selfsufficientme.com, and you'll see all our new articles. We're getting plenty of them rolling along at the moment, and have a browse through. You never know what you might come across. You might enjoy a good read. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now. Cheers. Now, I think these will go into the compost once the bush turkey's had his fill.